This is the Volvo XC90, and it's a little bit like Sir David Attenborough, because while it is very posh, everyone still seems to really like it. Plus, it's been around for absolutely ages now, that it's just part of the furniture, and it's kind to the environment as well. This is a plug-in hybrid. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the XC90, because Volvo has made some tweaks to it to ensure that it's still very appealing. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss a single upload. Buy, sell, car, wow. I'm going to start this video by talking about the design of the XC90. So Volvo has recently updated it, but where are the changes? It looks pretty much identical to when it first came out in 2015. That's not a complaint. I do like the look of it. It's a good looking car. You can have like chromey bits or blacky bits depending on which you prefer, and the grille as well. But I can't for the life of me tell what's different about it. What they updated, it looks exactly the same. They've probably done the alloy wheels and that's it. They did any more than the alloy wheels?
No.
That's it, they're just on the alloy wheels. There is a slight advantage of the fact they haven't really done much to the exterior design. It means that in order to make sure they can sell it when the BMW X5 and the Mercedes GLE have all been updated since this has been out, they're having to give discounts on it. And if you want to see how much you can save on a Volvo XC90, you need to go to carwow. Just click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the link in the description below to do that. Because look, the starting price is £62,000, but you can save an average of £10,000 off on through carwow. But that number will change depending on which model you go for, so do that. Now if you want to do it at a later date, just simply Google "help me carwow" and we will help you buy your next car. We can also help you sell your current car as well. All you have to do is upload some photos, give a brief description, then dealers all across the country will bid on your car. Give you more money to put towards one of these. Let's check it out inside. The biggest visual change on the whole of the XC90 are these woolen seats. They are lovely! Wool blend performance. I'd have these any day over leather. Another change is this. A wireless charging pad. Look at that. Welcome to the 22nd century, or is it 21st century? 21st. That always confuses me. Anyway, you've got USB-Cs under there as well, but other than that, it's all very much normal XC90ness as it's ever been. So quality is pretty nice. The design is minimalistic. You've got portrait infotainment system, though to be fair, it feels a little bit old-fashioned now. Yeah, some of it's a bit fiddly to use. You've got digital dials, which are a bit bland and don't show that much information really compared to the competitors. Speaking of which, a BMW X5 has a better infotainment system, and its screens are just higher def and brighter. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the BMW X5, click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the link in the description below. What I can't fault the XC90 for, though, is the comfort of the driving position. Really good. Lots of adjustment in the steering wheel and the seats. Other areas of practicality, decent storage under there, decent sized cup holders here, loads of big bottles in them, and obviously you can hide them away. There's your 12 volt socket under there. Though this annoys me, it doesn't shut properly. So on a ratchet, you have to do the last bit. Glove box, looks huge, but actually it's not that big because this shelf actually limits what you can put in that area. Door bins are big though, loads of room in those for very big bottles, and you've got this secret storage area under here for some bits and pieces, which is quite deep. Look, I'm fisting it, it goes all the way in. Right, let's move to the back seats. Here in the middle of the road of the XC90, there's plenty of space. Look, lots of knee room, lots of headroom. You've got 3 individual chairs, and they all slide individually forward and backwards, and they also all recline individually. Now, when it comes to carrying 3 in this middle row at once, the person who gets the middle seat has a little bit less bum room because this is narrower, and there's a hump in the floor for them to straddle. But the footwells are nice and big, so there's plenty of space for everyone's feet, and the body's wide, so there's lots of shoulder room, so you can go a decent amount of distance in the back of this with 3 people in, and it's not too much trouble at all. When it comes to fitting a baby seat, it's quite easy to get a big bulky baby seat in through these large doors. The problem is trying to locate the Isofix anchor points because they're hidden in between the cushions there like that, so it can be a bit of a faff, but once you've got them located, there's plenty of space even for a bulky rear facing seat. Other things to note are the fact that look, you've got some practicality with some nets here, we've got an armrest here with cup holders there, and there's also decent sized door bins that you can put bottles in them. You've got 2 USB-Cs there, you've got your climate control there, so it's actually 2-zone here in the back as well, and 2 heated seats. The middle person doesn't get a heated seat. You've also got windows that go all the way down. And look at this. If you want to keep the sun off you, some manually operated blinds. Now then, let's check out the 3rd row. the seats move out the way nice and easily like that, and there's plenty of space to actually climb into the very back. Just pull this into position and move this one out of the way so you can see what's going on back here. So look at this. Knee room is actually all right. If I had really long legs, I could get the person in front of me to just move their chair forward a little bit. The only real issue is headroom. Look, see, I'm sitting up straight and my head is touching the roof. If I slouch, it's not such an issue. And you can slouch a bit because the seats are actually quite high off the floor, unlike in some other 7-seaters in their rearmost rows. Normally you feel like you sat on the floor. You don't with this. That is really, really good. The seats themselves are quite comfortable. Also, you've got some big rear windows, you've got cup holders, you've got storage there, you've got some storage there, you've got your ventilation system there as well. It's all right in the back. I personally wouldn't want to go too far, but kids, they'll be more than fine. But what about when it comes to carrying luggage with all 7 seats in place? Is that a struggle? Have a look at this, right? Quite a decent amount of space. 302 litres, although actually it's 260 if you have the plug-in hybrid because the battery's underneath the floor, but still a decent amount of space with all seats in place, and there's obviously no load lip to lift things over, so you can just slide things in and out nice and easily. Now to fold down the back row, you just do that, headrest flop down, and then you have 680 litres of space, or 640 with the plug-in hybrid, and that's about mid-table for this kind of car. However, in 5-seat mode, a Land Rover Discovery has a bigger boot. It's over 1,000 litres. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. If you're wondering what this cutout is here for, it's because you've got a divider, so you can prevent things from rolling around in the boot, and underneath here you have some storage for your cables. We've got some tie down points there, got some hook thingies here that I can't seem to get out. Why can't I get them out? There we go. We have a 12-volt socket there. Plus, if you're loading it and you need it a bit lower, you can lower the car down on its air suspension like that. Make it easier. That's good, isn't it? Anyway, let's put it into full van mode, so just 2-seat. So I'm just going to go here and then fold that one, fold this one down as well. Yeah. Got my finger stuck. I've literally got my finger stuck. Okay. Ow. And then this one. There is this big gap here that when you slide things to the front, look, it might get trapped. Let me just do it, show you. So if you slide things in, see, it's going to catch there. So it makes it a bit harder, so you have to throw them in like that. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the Volvo XC90. In most cars, you can change the driving mode by quickly pressing a button on the steering wheel, or maybe one down here. However, to do it in this Volvo, you have to first press this cog there, which is very small, and then press this button there to access the driving modes, and then press these little buttons here. Do you notice I'm very much looking at the screen rather than the road? Isn't Volvo supposed to be all about safety? And I think this is one of the least safe way of accessing your driving modes. Just saying. The chrome Bowser Wilkins speaker on the dash looks really cool, unless it's very sunny, and then you get the sunlight just reflecting in the metal. When you're driving along, that sort of like distracts you. Not ideal. Well, it's good that you can get an electrically deployable tow bar for the XC90. It's a bit of a shame that the towing capacity isn't all that. For the normal petrol diesel models, it's 2,700 kilograms. For the plug-in hybrid, it's just 2,350 kilograms. By comparison, the towing capacity of a BMW X5 hybrid or just normal internal combustion engine is 3,500 kilograms. For some reason, you can't adjust the position of the headrests in this car. Not up, not down, not forwards or backwards. So you better hope that your posture is just right for this vehicle, otherwise you might be a bit uncomfy. While the XC90 comes with Apple CarPlay, there is no Android Auto. Boo. However, it's not all bad. That brings on to 5 cool things about this car. You see, you do actually get Google Maps, which is good. There's also Google Assistant, and I like this feature as well. Something called air quality, where you can monitor the actual pollutants in the outside environment. Look at that, you can check out whether there's any nitrogen dioxide, ozone, what the levels of sulfur dioxide are, and it will also tell you what pollen the filter has filtered out, whether it's from trees, grass or weeds. Marvellous. To prevent the rearmost seatbelts from rattling around when you're driving along, there's these little catches just up there which you hook the buckle over like that. There you go, look. It just keeps them nice and secure. The gear selector knob is made of pure crystal by Oriforce. Looks lovely. It feels lovely too. It's a bit creepy, but yeah, I like how it feels. I can't for the life of me remember where the heck I parked my XC90. I know it's around here somewhere. What's done with it? Oh, thankfully, there's a little button on the key fob that if I press this, it should sound the car's horn, and then I'll be able to locate it using my ears. So here we go. Ah, there it is. Oh yeah, that feature saved the day. As with other car sound systems, you can alter the fade from front to rear. Big deal. However, the Barrett & Wilkins system also includes this stage effect where you can alter the intensity of the noise and the envelopment. Then there's the room functions where you can make it sound more like a concert hall or a jazz club. Nice. I'm going to reveal something that may put you off the XC90, and it's the fact that you can only get it with 2-litre 4-cylinder engines. So the Germans, you can get 6 cylinders and in some cases 8 cylinders. Anyhow, start off with the diesel. That's got 235 horsepower. Then there's a petrol with 250 horsepower, another one with 300 horsepower. Then there's this T8 plug-in hybrid, which is boosted by an electric motor, and it has 455 horsepower. Regardless of which XC90 you go for, they have all-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic gearbox. But which one should you buy? Well, what I'm going to do is configure my ideal Volvo XC90 using the carwow configurator. There it is, configured. Actually, I pre-configured it. If you want to find out what the model is exactly and the saving through carwow, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. But before you actually pull the trigger on one and buy it, you should find out what this car is like to drive. So let's do that. Let's start off by trying this XC90 out in town. So what I'm going to do is, such a faff, these driving modes, put it into pure mode, which means it's just electric power alone. It can do over 40 miles on electric power alone, and this is perfect when you're just doing the school run and you want a virtue signal to the other parents at the school gate. So yes, look at me, I'm just running my plug-in hybrid in electric only mode, I'm saving the planet, honestly. Seriously though, it's really good for just making the drive more relaxed. It locks it in electric power, it can go as fast as you need it to go really in town in electric power, all very smooth, all very nice, and it helps you keep the cost down as well, because you can just charge it at home and use this as an electric vehicle for short runs. Now, visibility, I'm turning right, nice big door mirrors, bit of a blind spot from this pillar here, but it's similar to most vehicles, to tell you the truth. What's a little bit firmer than you'd imagine for a car like this is the suspension. So this is on the upgraded air suspension, and it's a bit softer than the standard setup, but both versions do feel a little bit firmer than a Audi Q7. Now, one of the things I noticed with this is that you get a slight rocking from side to side when you go over uneven bumps, a bit like you're in a ship on a rocky sea. And also, when the surface is broken and uneven, it sort of fidgets. The Q7 is just smoother. The suspension in the Q7 is sublime. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. One thing this is better at than the Q7 is the turning circle. So it's 11.8, which is not quite enough to get me around here. Oh dear, I'm going to cause chaos. No, I've got all the safety systems here, that's good. So that was telling me that there was a car, I didn't see that one, but the safety system picked that up. That was brilliant, that saved me. So really good that. Turning circle, bit better than a Q7 when you don't have the Q7 with rear steering, but not as good as a Q7 when you do have the rear steering. I could have got around there in one go, for I've actually taken a better line, so that's my bad. And I think I've annoyed some of the local residents in this village. Well, now one thing to note is that being a plug-in hybrid, you have some regenerative effect of the braking. So when you first start braking, it's recharging the batteries. Sometimes that can make the braking feel really like grabby, and suddenly you end up like kind of headbanging the steering wheel when you're just trying to stop smoothly. In this, it's really well judged. So I can quite easily bring the car to a nice smooth stop. And you can't really tell the transition between when it goes from that regen effect to actual proper friction braking. All very good. Anyway, let's head out onto some faster roads, see how this car stacks up there. Sometimes when you get out on the faster roads in the country, you're thwarted by things like that. So what's the pickup like on this car when you need to get past tractors? Well, I'm throwing it from 30 Bit of a hesitation while the engine kicks in and the electric motors do their thing. It's all got to work together. I think those three systems, the gearbox, the petrol engine and the electric motors. But once it's moving, oh my God, it's quick, this thing. This is the T8, of course. And if you go for one of the other engines, they're just not quite as powerful as the German equivalent. Now, when you're finally up to speed, this is a nice car to cruise in. So it's reasonably quiet. All I'm noticing is a bit of wind whistle from around those door mirrors. See, that's a trade-off with them being so big and useful, is they do create a bit of noise. Another thing that I'm not so impressed with, the economy. So this thing's averaging 30 miles to the gallon. Yeah, you really need to be just running on an electric power alone round town and stuff like that to make it really pay in terms of the efficiency you can get from running it in electric mode. Because if you're doing long journeys, you're basically just running off a high performance turbocharged 4-cylinder 2-litre, which isn't going to be particularly efficient. Speaking of efficiency, we're going to just sod it, because now we want to see what this car's like when you're on a twisty road. So I'll put the XC90 into power mode. It's always going to make sure it's going to deliver maximum power from the combination of the electric motor and the petrol engine. So here we go, twisty road. What does this thing handle like? Obviously a big tall vehicle and heavy, this one, because of the batteries, but it's surprisingly competent on a twisty road. I think it feels a bit lighter than the equivalent hybrid from BMW or Mercedes. You don't really notice the difference between this plug-in hybrid version in terms of the weight and the handling compared to the normal XC90s, the ones that aren't hybrids, which is a good thing. I wouldn't say it's sporty or fun in the same way that a Porsche Cayenne is, but you can't get 7 seats in a Cayenne, can you? It holds onto the road well. It's only when you really push it, it does start to wash wide a bit, but it's all safe, all predictable and all manageable. You shouldn't be driving it like this anyway, to be fair. This is just me being a motoring journalist and, you know, testing cars properly. This is the corner that's really the tester. Look, nice and flat, and the punch from the 4-wheel drive system and the electric motor is just getting you out that corner nice and sharpish. Really impressive. In fact, whatever's in the boot is just sliding around going, ah, what's going on? I think it must be the charging cables. So then, what's my final verdict on the Volvo XC90? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, even though it has been around for a while now, it's still a really good car. And I think you should shortlist the XC90. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know if you agree with my verdict in the comments below. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and on that box there to go to Carwow to sell your car. Just upload some photos, give a brief description, then dealers all across the country will bid on your car. It's easy. Thanks for watching.